Shalom Israel. First and foremost, I do want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Shemel Shabbat Shemkakadash, to born to the apostles, Nels Great Millstone, 14 Justice Truth. Peace and blessings to the hope like Rizal. Yahweh is the name of nothing Father and Hebrew, Hashem is the name, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the begotten Son. Back in our lesson, as you see within the title, his deception is faltering. And I'm going to be going to this recent viral clip that has been going around, which I want to say it was an old clip, if not, something similar as to what you're about to see right here with this guy in the middle wearing pretty much a mask, where it's, literally clear, that it's a mask and there's no, excuse to be made, as to, what you are seeing. Because usually when you see, so-called conspiracies being made, dealing with, things on the news, people pointing things out, there's always an excuse, but with this, it's crystal clear. But one of the main points going throughout the lesson is, this devil being exposed, he's being revealed. His deception is no longer working as it once used to. Further going to show his kingdom is coming to an end, he's losing his power. But I'm going to play two quick videos, pretty much the same thing, but one video is a little bit more up close. And this person put in the caption says, "I thought y'all were joking." Because a lot of people are now posting videos on this situation, and which are now picking up on the lies of Esau Edom. Because there's nothing new that you see within the news dealing with the deception that's going out. Which I remember making a lesson titled, this devil caught red-handed or something to that effect. But it was a news outlet. It was around, dealing with 2020, dealing with the 19, all those deaths. And you had a person in a body bag literally sit up, in the background of, the news reporter. So, this devil's, he's getting exposed. He's being revealed. But, slightly from being off topic.
What do you think the next best move is today?
Well, I agree with the general completely, with one caveat. Patience may be a little short of the real objective here. The president has time on his hands. He controls the narrative, he controls the strike capabilities, and he knows that.
And you see, usually when you talk, you can see your throat moving, especially as a man, dealing with your Adam's apple, going up and down while you're speaking.
The policy he set with the blockade has had short-term.
His neck is moving under the mask, and I mean, this is crystal clear.
Long-term effects on the regime and the people of Iran. So he's.
And yet people want to trust everything, this devil says. Blindly putting their faith in Esau Edom. When this devil's putting it right in front of your face, you don't even care anymore. And really, he's losing that grip, Made that point earlier, he's losing his power. Because now he's unable to, get away with things as he once used to. But now you see his works, his plans, the things he has been wanting to do, as you can see within various movies, cartoons, TV shows, he'll put his plans, he's being revealed,
Very astute in leveraging that time.
And that's just, clear that's a mask. And you can find other videos of, people, getting these, life, what's the word I'm looking for? These, super, realistic, masks that can, mimic, a person's face, a whole new, face, and put it on top of yours, and you can't even tell the difference. Matter of fact, you had this devil, this is one video, you had this Edomite, put on a mask to look like Jake and go out and commit crimes. But see what these comments say, and I'll get one more videos a little more close up. So, okay, I get it's a mask, but the man blinked once. Which, doesn't change, anything. You have people, still trying to downplay these things. You can find your other, realistic, masks where you're able to blink. But I mean, there's no avoiding that it's a mask. So I don't get what he's trying to point out. He blinked. I mean, okay. But once these people are just, just stupid, really. So why do they do with the real Robert Howard? And I believe there was another video which I don't have saved, but they pulled up the actual person. You can obviously see clear differences, which this is also him right here. See, even the chin doesn't even appear correct in the video. Since Fox News has lost any credibility it had, and you have these people that Washington still use these news outlets as they're a source for news. Not knowing this devil uses the news outlets to push and control the narrative, to push and promote confusion. And person suggest see people calling this dude out, because you have people that are still blind to the trickery and deception of this devil, which I've made various points throughout many lessons. People take anything this devil says as fact, as truth. This is why it's going to come to bite you back in the behind so hard. And when this devil turns on you, Isaiah 31:3, how the trust and shadow of Egypt shall be your shame and your confusion. There's also another part of confusion that you do see. People pushing that there's reptilians within the government. People are just reptiles, and whole load of confusion. And you see the person using the lizard from Spider-Man. You see right here, literally what I was thinking. Imagine that's how they've been among us this entire time. This is why the truth is so important. And dealing with Isaiah 33:6, that wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Because look at the things that people follow and go after. It's just nonsense. But that's especially something this devil leans into, because you see a lot of videos come out of people trying to push this reptilian BS, really. Let's get this other video.
Eyes of the Iranian people, but the world global economy.
And it's just more clearer footage, and you can just clearly see the gap near his collar. And I pointed out right here, usually when you talk, you can see your neck move, and you see it's not moving at all. But you can see the neck under it moving.
Which they're
So it's making it clear that it's obviously a mask.
holding all hostage to the more.
And dealing with the point of this lesson, dealing with the title, their deception is faltering. And I do want to get that definition, that word meaning for faltering.
Everybody comes to.
Because as I was making that point with the lesson, this devil, he's losing his grip. This is why you see, which you can read Revelation 12:12, going to this great wrath. The devil's preparing to come down with, because he knows that he has but a short time. So he knows his time is ticking, his time is running out. This is why you see him rushing to implement his plans, to put in action as fast as possible. But you see he's beginning to get sloppy with his works. People that are now of the world are able to pick up on these things. But you start with the apostles and elders on down of the great millstone have been warning you of these things for years. But now you have people begin to slowly pick up on these things, or now begin to ask questions.
Realize this is all about the IRGC. At the end of the day, we're going to have to need a government in Iran that not only hands over.
And there's also another example a while back, where you had the Pope, I believe, giving a speech, or he was doing something. And there was a feed to where, it looked like it glitched and he wasn't, actually there. This is why you go with the scriptures, Ecclesiastes 12 and 10, never trust thine enemy, and, why, he's not to be trusted in any case. He is a deceiver, a natural born liar. And the person's, caption says, right in front of your face.
The nuclear material stops threatening the Straits of Hormuz, but quits exporting the Islamic Revolution throughout the region, causing the collapse of...
You can see just something, barely blinking.
Lebanon, Gaza, Yemen, Syria, and as well as in the eyes of the Iranian.
This is over as 30K likes to these comments going into. So are they showing the mask on purpose? I'm losing over here. And really, this devil will, do these things too, especially just mock, the masses, because it'll be, blatant, right in front of your face, and these people still, won't pick up on these things. But as I also made that point earlier, you still have people pushing confusion, reptilians. But as I made that point, this is something this devil especially leans into, just to further, push and promote that confusion. So this feels intentional. And I want to say this is an old video, if I'm correct. I remember seeing some, either like, this exact video, if not something similar. Of, them wearing a mask. If I, remember it correctly. First, you can really see the mask, OMG. It's just obviously a mask. A lot of people will say, oh, it's just a camera glitch. People forgetting Fox News is now an entertainment network, not a news outlet. So he's not blinking at all, barely blinking. So the law of Fox News has turned the comments off to this video on YouTube. But, as I was making that point, this devil is slipping. And this is, one small example, of it. Is Obadiah 1 and 6 is how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? So his works are being revealed. They're coming to light. This is one, little, sliver, of an example of it. Because you also see other videos of these, masks. And I believe it's not the first video that came out like that, where someone pointed out, someone in the news or in a video, wearing a mask. But it says, how are things Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? So the NLT says, every nook and cranny of Edom will be searched and looted. Every treasure will be found and taken. But the main point is dealing with this devil being exposed. As I, brought up, even now, these people that are of the world that are not, within this truth, they don't have this knowledge, are now beginning to question these things. So Isaiah 47:3 says, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yeah, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. To the GNT says. And it says, people will see you naked, they will see you humbled and shamed. I will take vengeance, and I will not stop. So I will take vengeance, and no one will stop me. Luke 12 and 2 further, establishing that point, says, for there is nothing covered, excuse me, that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. Get more translations. It says, the time is coming when everything that is covered will be revealed, and all that is secret will be made known to all. And it's especially dealing with various other things. Like it's using this video as an example. But if there's nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. This is Ecclesiastes 12 and 8. So if they're putting this right in front of your face and people are barely questioning it, imagine the various other things this devil is doing. As you just had that comment, that dude now now finally begin to question the validity, of the news and the information that they're bringing out. Only now he's beginning to question it. As you saw the people in the comments also making that point. Just now you're saying this, now you're realizing this. But it's Ecclesiastes 12:8, or it's like 10:8. And it says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit. And who got, this came through lies, through deceit, through rape, rob, and murder, through the bloodshed of our people. This devil Esau Edom. Job 9:24, out of the world from the hand of the wicked. Malachi 1:4, showing you that wicked is speaking of, which is Esau Edom. Where you have literally Edom being called the border of wickedness. But it says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit. Let's see what that word deceit goes into. According to this devil is a deceiver. He is a liar. It's a deception, fraudulent, trickery, duping. Trickery is also a good one, as we're going to in this lesson. That's a form of witchcraft. Is their news. Social media. You see all the confusion and wickedness that they push and promote. The things they put in front of your face. What do they call it? You have symbolism and there was another word. It slipped my mind. It's something programming. Predictive programming, also put in front of your face of things they're about to do, things they have done. That's why you see people, will point out, the Simpsons. And say, oh, look, they predicted this. They didn't predict nothing. They just put it right there as to what they were going to do. But it says cheating, trickery, duping, guile, lying. But it says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Who's that kingdom going to be translated unto? The Israelites. But just dealing with that point, you're slowly seeing that transitioning of power taking place. Where now you have this devil, now beginning to get exposed. He's being revealed. He's slowly losing his power. His deception, his trickery is no longer working as it once used to. Because we're nearing the end of his rule. This is why you see the devil getting ready to crash out. Ecclesiastes 12:10, it says, never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusts, so is his wickedness. So he's not to be trusted in any case. He's a natural born liar, as you in Psalm 55, Psalm 58, going into it. Now the further reading right here says, never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusts, so is his wickedness. So we have been given this knowledge, this understanding for a reason, as you can also get. In fact, the exact chapter we're going into how this book was written for our foretime, for our learning. So apply it. The Revelations 12:9, and it says, and the great dragon was cast out, which you can also get in the previous verse, going to that war in heaven is getting ready to take place, which is not speaking of a war in the spiritual realm, but speaking of a war, in the sky. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. So you're going to have a lot of people be deceived by the things the devil, is doing and is going to do. And especially dealing with this Project Blue Beam, which people are having various talks of, the things he's getting ready to do with that. You have CERN, dealing with that particle collider. You have a lot of whistleblowers that come out and, speaking on it, saying this devil trying to open up portals and all these various things, But just dealing with that point, you have a lot of deception going on. That's why it's important to be under the hedge and protection of Yahweh Shem, try to be in his good graces, to have this wisdom and knowledge and understanding, to have that stability having that solid foundation, building your house upon a rock. That rock ultimately being our Lord Yahweh Shai. Did you also get Matthew 24 and 24? Going ahead and have people be deceived. As you further get throughout the scriptures, how if it were possible, they should deceive even the very elect, but it's impossible to deceive the Lord's men. 2 Corinthians 11, I'm also grab that Lord's will. It says, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So it's going to this devil being taken out of power, being dethroned. The heaven representing, this highest state, which this devil is in right now. Which, once again, this is his rule. His kingdom. This is his heaven. But as soon as he's going to be brought down to the dust, the lowest part. As in the scripture, he's going to be brought down to hell. Which in hell representing, that lowest state, that low position. Isaiah 47:1 going to that, come sit in the dust, old virgin daughter of Babylon. So he's going to be brought down to the ground. 2 Corinthians 11, it says, let Satan to get vengeance, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So we know what this devil was, up to. As we're going to get in LT, it says, so that Satan will not outsmart us, for we are familiar with the evil scheme. We know how this devil operates, the way he moves, the way he does things. This is where I warn you, through the Spirit prayer, how much try to take heed to these warnings. Do not trust your enemy. But you're going to have many of our people learn the hard way that this devil is not your friend, but your foe, your enemy. One look throughout history should tell you that. But Jake wants to look past all these things. Jake wants to say it's water under the bridge. Well, to Yahweh Shemel Shai, it's not. You get within scripture how the devil's going to pay for his crimes and atrocities that he has committed. As we also read in that previous scripture, how he got his kingdom through lies, through deceit. Through the bloodshed of our people, man. This is 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3, and it says, let no man deceive you by any means, for the day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. And that man of sin, which is ultimately Esau, he's being revealed, he's being exposed. This is one little example. I brought up that point earlier where you had someone in a body bag literally sit up in the background of a, of someone, speaking on your recent news. That's one little example. You have these crisis actors being exposed. Especially dealing with that recent spacewalk or whatever they called it, where they supposedly went to space, which they didn't. It's obviously green screen, which people pointed out, which is something they obviously did before. But this is the NLT. So don't be fooled by what they say, for that day will not come until there is a great rebellion against the Most High, and the man of lawlessness is revealed, the one who brings destruction. So just something quick to the point. I came across that video, try to make it a lesson, speaking on it, because also I wanted to get that word faltering. Since having the title, so I was going to get it earlier, but it says faltering refers to an action, speech, or process that is hesitant, unsteady, or losing strength. So within his deception is losing strength. This is one of his main, weapons that he uses. Controlling, the narrative game. But now his slide tricks, his deception, it's faltering. It's losing strength. As I made that point earlier, he's losing his power because his kingdom is crumbling. It's coming to an end. This is why you see him getting sloppy. You also get another scripture going to how they're not in trouble as other men, but now you begin to see that slowly. We're still looking for slowly, loosening up, for lack of better words. Because you also get Deuteronomy 30 and 7, And I want to say also in the description of the book of Obadiah, go into how all these curses are going to be, turned upon his own head. Let's see. Do you want to get another term? It says stumble, totter, stammer, waver. But yeah, the losing strength was, a good one. And that's everything. I don't want to, spell out the outro. Don't want me to listen how long it needs to be. But Lord's will, the point is made. Lord was edifying. I do close out, give all praise, all honor, all glory to Yahweh, Shem, Shabbat, Shem, Dash, and Shalom. See you next one, Lord's will.